Susan Gravellisi. Dr.
I'm sorry, it froze on me. I'm sorry, it froze on me.
Yes, John Stamatopoulos.
That's me. Thanks.
You're excellent. Thank you. Anthony Cogliandro. I don't see him. John Martelli.
Present.
Thank you. Joshua Miranda.
Here.
You and Chris Sermella.
I'm sorry, did you say me?
Yes.
I just cut out for a second. Yep, here.
Thank you very much. All right. We have a quorum. We'll start with some housekeeping items. Brian, if you're good, I'll keep moving forward through this agenda.
Yep.
First item for our agenda today is approval of meeting minutes from our last meeting, which was the February 26th meeting. Those minutes were part of your packet that was emailed out earlier this week. And we are looking for a motion to
approve meeting minutes from February 26, 25.
Second.
Thank you, Stacy. Second by Don Martelli. Thank you. And for roll call for the meeting minute approval, starting with Stacy Rizzo.
Yes.
Susan Gravellisi.
Yes.
Carl Svensson.
Yes.
Christopher Bowen.
Yes.
Nick Rystrom.
Yes.
John Stamatopoulos.
Yes.
Thank you. Don Martelli.
Yes.
Joshua Miranda.
Yes.
Chris Sermella.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I'm just checking to make sure that nobody else has joined as we were going through the roll call. Next up on the agenda, we have February invoices for processing, and I can actually share the screen. And this here so we don't have to remember all the numbers.
Linda, can we make a note that Dr. Kelly just joined the meeting?
Oh, thank you very much. I'm going to note arrival, Dr. Kelly, at 5:38 p.m. arrival. Thank you very much. We have 3 invoices for February, and we can, I know we typically do these separate, so I'll start with Left Field's invoice for February services, which is invoice number 48, in the amount of $118,112, and this is for design development.
Motion to approve invoice 48 to Left Field for $118,112. So moved.
Second.
You. And I will do a roll call for approval. Stacy Rizzo.
Yes.
Susan Gravellisi.
Yes.
Dr. Kelly.
Yes.
Carl Svensson. Christopher Bowen.
Yes.
Nick Rystrom.
Yes.
John Stamatopoulos.
Yes.
Don Martelli.
Yes.
Joshua Miranda.
Yes.
And Chris Sermella.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Perkins Eastman's invoice number 8 for design development. It also includes site survey and traffic studies. Again, all part of the design development phase. The total amount of their invoice is $943,791.59.
Motion to approve invoice 8 for Perkins Eastman for the total of $943,791.59. So moved.
Second.
Thank you very much, ladies. And we'll do a roll call for Perkins Eastman invoice, starting with Stacy Rizzo,
Yes.
Susan Gravellisi,
Yes.
Dr. Kelly,
Yes.
Carl Svensson, Christopher Bowen,
Yes.
Nick Rystrom,
Yes.
John Stomatopoulos,
Yes.
Don Martelli,
Yes.
Joshua Miranda,
Yes.
and Chris Cermella.
Yes.
Much. Last of our invoices for the month of February is Consigli's pre-construction services invoice, which also includes 3 line items for amendment number 1, which was for the temporary fencing. So the amount of their invoice for February is the traditional 27,000, and then in addition to that, the temporary fencing for amendment 1. So their contract invoice total is $93,938.
Motion to approve invoice 26 to Consiglia for $93,938. So moved.
Second.
Very much. And the roll call, starting with Stacy Rizzo,
Yes.
Susan Gravellisi,
Yes.
Dr. Kelly,
Yes.
Carl Svensson,
Yes.
Christopher Bowen,
Yes.
Nick Rystrom,
Yes.
John Stomatopoulos,
Yes.
Don Martelli,
Yes.
Joshua Miranda,
Yes.
and Chris Cermella.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We traditionally also show the budget spreadsheet just based on the invoices that were just approved. I don't know if you guys are able to see this, but this was also part of your packet that was sent out earlier this week. Basically, the added costs go into the expended column, which is this column every month. So as of February, at the end of February, we had expended $14,717,443 of the total project budget. Brian, anything else you want to add to the budget conversation?
Not right now. And I think when we get through a little more of the busy work in the next agenda items, I'm going to put it back on the screen too. So we might be able to hit it then.
Perfect. All right. I am going to stop sharing my screen then, because I think then, Brian, if you want to share the presentation for the construction document update and design development update that we have for this meeting.
Sure. I just wanted to start off kind of general. So we're in agenda item 4 here, 60% CD active, making sure the city and school know exactly what we're getting, how it can be maintained, and then it meets all their goals. And same can be said with the mechanical system. I've mentioned that it's more and more detail. We're at the point where we can really start burrowing into the mechanical system, start establishing more accurate utility cost projections, et cetera. So all those gears are turning right now, and over the next few months, you'll be hearing more about both of them. All of that, from landscaping to MEP to just general technical development of the design, evolution of the design. We also have the phase 1 demolition work of the foundations and old track out to bid. We'll have those bids back in the coming days. And we are continuing to march through our permitting process. We expect in the next 2 weeks to receive approval of the second major step in MEPA, the draft environmental impact report. And those will both be items that we highlight at the April meeting. We'll have bid results. We'll be looking to approve and award the bid results for site demolition next month so that we can execute contracts with subcontractors and get the work started. And we'll do a little bit more comprehensive MEPA update on reviewing comments that we haven't seen yet, but we know are coming in the next few weeks. So on budget, on schedule. We just, as we're in the phase of the project where everything gets a little more granular and detailed. So before I jump into some other busy work, I just wanted to see if anyone had any general questions about what's coming up, what we're doing now. I don't see any hands.
I actually have one, Brian.
Sure, that's fine.
Have you, like, I'm sure you've projected with the upcoming tariffs, like how it might affect our budget?
Yes, so we that was a conversation that was led by the estimators in Consigli. And it is shooting a moving target. None of us quite know how it's going to pan out, but we did establish a contingency within the budget. If you remember, a month or two ago, we reported we were on budget at the end of the DD estimating phase. It's kind of hard to get so granular that you're breaking down exactly what might or might not be exposed, but the decision was made as a group that 0.5% on all of the direct costs of the building. When I say direct costs, physical things that need to be built, not fees, not services, etc. So it worked out to be about $1.5 million, and that's what's carried in the estimate. But again, that's going to be something that evolves over the coming months. To us, the sooner we get this all out to bid, the better. So that's one of the reasons you always see us wanting to hold the schedule, because we just don't know where the uncertainty is going to go in the future. But it remains to be a good bidding market. We're seeing a lot of projects come in with people reacting to the uncertainty with wanting to lock down jobs. So we'd like to get to the point where we have this bid out because subs are hungry and they're being aggressive. So.
All right, thank you. Because I'm sure I'm not the only one who's come across this on the outside with people saying, well, how's this going to affect the budget? So it's
Yep.
good to have an idea. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Brian, I just wanted to mention, I'm driving, so I apologize for not having my camera on, and I'm in the tunnel, so I keep losing signal. But thanks to Dan Cawley, who set up a meeting for us to discuss further on landscape stuff, and that's going to be on April 10th. And Carl Svensson will be at that meeting as well. So hopefully we can have a lot more to report at the April meeting.
Agreed. So we've got a couple other items to cover. I'm going to share my screen. So we're going to run through 3 items that require approval tonight. The first is not related to a financial commitment. The second 2 are. We'll jump into the budget when we get there. And the handout I gave you, I apologize, I messed up the order of these. I'm going to go in the order that they're on the agenda. So we're going to start with proprietary specifications for the security system. So I think this is something that we introduced at a previous meeting. It's relatively common, especially on these bigger schools and high schools, but really to sort of hit these bullet points, to properly integrate to the city and school security systems, integrate with first responders, police, fire. We can't have an open bid, an open spec for certain pieces of the security system. In general, any of these public projects, we need to allow equals. So when a bidder comes in, they might bid manufacturer A, B, or C. There's very tight rules about going around that process. It requires a vote of the school building committee, and security is really where we see this happen often. Again, it's almost on all of the bigger high schools, maybe some of the really smaller, couple hundred kids, K through 3s. You don't really get into this, but to really coordinate the way we need to with the school, first responders, and the city, we have 5 items listed on the screen for the access control system, the video management system, the intrusion detection system, video intercoms, and video management cameras that all cannot be openly bid. We need these specific items. So there's a scripted motion on the bottom of the screen. If anybody has any questions, fire away. But this is pretty matter of course for a building of this size. Just looking around for any hands.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the following security systems as proprietary specifications for the Revere High School project.
Lenzel 1 on guard for the access control system, Genetics Omnicast for the video management system, Honeywell for the instruction detection system, Earphone 9 series for the video intercoms, and Access Communications for the video management cameras. So moved.
Nicely done.
Second,
And just before we vote, I just want to make sure the committee knows, Brian, that Jonathan Ferrara, who oversees our whole IT department, worked closely with the City of Riviera IT department and is deeply involved in these selections and on board with this motion.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. That's an important note.
Okay, if there are no other questions, I'll do the roll call for the motion. Starting with Stacy Rizzo,
Yes.
Susan Gravellisi,
yes.
Dr. Kelly,
Yes.
Carl Svensson,
Yes.
Christopher Bowen,
Yes.
Rich Viscay, no, Rich is still here. Rich, can you hear us?
We'll try him at the
He's
end.
having
Yeah.
microphone issues.
He's voting yes in the chat. He can't, you're not hearing him, but he's voting yes.
Oh,
Yep.
yep, I see it.
Perfect, thank you. Nick Rystrom,
Yes.
John Stamatopoulos,
Yes.
Don Martelli,
Yes.
Joshua Miranda,
Yes.
and Chris Cermella.
Yes.
Perfect, and we also did Rich's response in the chat as well as the same question from Don Martelli that Dr. Kelly just asked. So I think we're good for this vote.
Sounds
Brian,
good.
just
Yep.
a question. Is that supposed to say intrusion detection system, or it looks like it says instruction?
Intrusion. That is, thank you, Carl. That is a typo. And
Okay. I'd
yeah,
like to know what
sorry.
instruction I thought we were watching
Yeah.
the teachers.
Yeah. Ugh, sorry about that.
Thank you, Carl. I thought I was making up my own words as I went.
It's
Welcome.
amazing. You look at something 5 times and it still gets by you. Okay, next item is another one we've sort of previewed coming up. I'm just generally speaking calling this soil monitoring services. This is an item that when we create the budgets for these projects, which was a few years ago at this point, getting as detailed as how long a certain phase is going to take, how long are we going to be pushing dirt around is tricky to do at that point. So we usually almost always omit these type of on-site monitoring services from a contract because we don't know how much they're going to cost. It really is based on how much contamination there is out there, how long the phase is, how many days on site we need them to be monitoring. But this is basically requesting services to be funded from the owner's soft contingency. I'll put the budget on the screen in a minute and show you how that works. For actions related to hiring Sanborn Head, who's an LSP firm that does this all day. They've worked on the project before. They've worked at Wonderland before. They're familiar with the site. And it's really for a bunch of services related to the DEP and making sure that we are doing the right things procedurally to move dirt around, to import soil, to export soil, etc. That second bullet point has a number of sort of technical items, pre-characterization survey, RAM plans, DEP tier classification submittals. But ultimately, it's also to have them on site to monitor these services and confirm that our subcontractors are adhering to the specification. So really, to quickly sort of illustrate this, I'm going to zoom in on the budget. This is the very bottom of the budget. And this yellow line here, these are the 2 contingencies that we've carried on the project. And I think we've mentioned this years ago, but it's a good time since this is the first time we're dipping into a contingency to note it. The soft contingency is intended for services, design services, permitting related items, really.
Brian, we're not seeing oh, there it is. I was
Yep.
going to say we're not seeing the budget, but I see it now.
Okay, so Contracts, soft costs, it's a $2.06 million budget. The value of these services is $121,990. And to move any money from the contingencies, we have to fill out a form that the MSBA calls a budget revision request. So before I scroll up and just show you where this money would move to, you can see the other contingency. The hard cost contingency is the change order contingency. That's if we have change orders that come along of scope changes during construction, if we hit surprises during construction. And these are the last piece that the soft contingency is usually, by the time we get to the end of the project and we're buying furniture, if there's soft contingency left, usually we use that to bail out furniture if we need it, because furniture so far in the future, it's sort of hard to predict where the pricing is going to go. But soft contingency for contracts and for furniture at the end of the day, when we're done with all the work, and the $18.5 million contingency is for hard costs, construction costs. So this BRR would move this money up into the geotechnical and geoenvironmental budget line item for Perkins Eastman. Because we're modifying their contract, it requires a contract amendment. And because we're moving money from contingency, it requires a BRR. So ultimately, we are seeking the motion that's scripted here, motion to approve Perkins Eastman Contract Amendment 4 and Budget Revision Request 6 or BRR 6 for Sanborn Head services related to soil testing, reporting, and on-site monitoring totaling $121,990.
Motion to approve Perkins Eastman Contract Amendment number 4 and budget revision request for 6 for Sanborn Head services relating to soil testing, reporting, and on-site monitor totaling $121,990. So moved.
Hey, Brian, I'm sorry, just a quick question. What will they be doing that the LSP on site won't be able to do?
They more or less they become, in terms of DEP, Sanborn Head become the LSP. So they can't really do the design and do the monitoring. It's one of these sort of independent, having an independent person monitoring a lot of this and filing the reports. So on the design side, we have folks that plan for this, but on the construction monitoring side, we have to bring in an independent firm.
And that wasn't planned, that we weren't planning on having someone on site before this?
We were always planning on it, but we can never really put a number on it 2 or 3 years in advance. So it's one of the items that we just anticipate funding from the soft contingency. And when we created this $2 million value, we have a couple of things like this in mind. So this was not captured in Left Field's contract or Perkins Eastman contracts on purpose. And we established this $2.06 million value knowing that we were going to have to, once we know the schedule and how much soil's moving, how many days we need them on site, we'd established a proposal then.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yep. It's a little confusing. It's just really hard to put a number on this like 2 or 3 years in advance, Chris.
Okay.
Need a second?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you very much, Susan. I'll do the roll call for the approval, starting with Stacy Rizzo,
Yes.
Susan Gravellisi,
Yes.
Dr. Kelly,
Yes.
Carl Svensson, Christopher Bowen,
Yes.
Rich Viscay, yes, via chat. Thank you.
Yes,
Pete
on the chat.
Rystrom,
Yes.
John Stemotopoulos, John Stemotopoulos, are you able to unmute?
Yes.
Thank you. John Martelli,
Yes.
Joshua Miranda,
Yes.
and Chris Cermella.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's good. I'm just going to move backwards here. Okay. Last item, 4C. This is another commitment not not a contract amendment. This is to bring fiber, and fiber is the cable means of getting the city's basically closed loop of internet and data services that all the public buildings use to the site. Typically, municipalities always have a proprietary vendor for this. Comtract is Revere's vendor. We worked with Comtract, Jonathan Ferrara, City IT to establish this scope. And this proposal will be an item that is directly contracted to the city. That's why there's no BRR, budget revision, or contract amendment. I'm going to go back to the budget. It might take a minute to come up because it did last time. This is something we're looking to commit against the utility company fees budget line, which we've carried $300,000 here. This utility company fees is for anything we need to plug into the building. So right now it's really the data, and ultimately we'll have a commitment from National Grid to pay for the electrical service through this budget line item. So again, no contract amendment, no BRR, because they're contracting directly to the city, not through one of your consultants. And this includes all services, surveying, engineering, design, project management, installation, to get the fiber loop to where the trailers are going to go. We will need to bring them back when the building is built, to pull the fiber from the pole that's going to feed the construction trailer complex into the building and ultimately feed the building. So towards the end of the job, well before it's occupied, but probably fall 2027, I'm anticipating, is when we'll probably be ready. Maybe summer 2027, we'll have them back and pull this fiber into the building. So for right now, this gets data to the site, so that we can support construction.
Brian, can I speak on this again for a minute?
Yep.
So just so that people know, our fiber network is integrated with the city of Revere. All municipal buildings, all schools, firehouses, police stations, city hall, etc., are involved in the same double system loop of fiber. It's a redundant double system, so that if anything should ever happen and one of them goes down, we don't lose any of our internet or data services. And we have a number of poles throughout the city that serve the schools and serve the other municipal buildings. The pole that we have at the Beach One School that serves the Beach One School has 12 pairs of data loops on them, fiber loops. Anytime we pull from a pole, we're using two of those 12 loops. And the ideal situation we're in right now, thanks to the brilliant people who designed our system, is they always built it with extra loops of fiber so that we could expand as we needed to. And so of the 12 pairs on the Beach One School loop, only 2 are being currently used. And so the plan right now is to pull a pair over to service the construction vehicles that are going to be there during construction phase. And then, as Brian just hinted to, we'll pull additional pairs over so that the whole school, when it's built, has enough capacity to serve internet everywhere throughout the building. And so I just want to highlight to everybody that capacity of the fiber network is not a concern. It was built in when the network was built.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. If there are no other questions, we would seek the motion that's scripted on the screen.
Motion to approve Comtract Corporation proposal dated February 28th, 2025 to provide initial fiber data services to the Wonderland site in the amount of $24,382.75. So moved.
Second,
Get to my unmute button. We'll do a roll call for this motion, starting with Stacy Rizzo,
Yes.
Susan Gravellisi,
yes.
Dr. Kelly,
Yes.
Carl Svensson, Christopher Bowen,
Yes.
Rich Viscay. Yes, via chat. Nick Rystrom
Yes.
and John Stamatopoulos,
Yes.
John Martelli,
Yes.
Joshua Miranda,
Yes.
Chris Termella.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay. That was most of what we had for the 60% update. Like I said, we'll have some design updates, some bidding updates, some permitting updates at the next month's meeting. And if no one has any other items in terms of 60% construction update, we can move to the public comment section. Name and address for the record if there's any public comment. Going once.
I don't see any public on the call or any raised hands.
Yep. Nothing in the chat.
Motion to close public comment.
Got it. I think we can just move right in. Anybody have any other business or new discussions from the committee? If not, we would seek a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to second.
Third.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
all. Have a good night.
Recording stopped.